And then the strongest voice fell. The man who told millions to find heavy burdens and to bear them collapsed under his own weight. By January of 2020, he was in a hospital in Moscow, Russia, in a medically induced coma for 9 days. So, what went wrong? Modern men feel purposeless and unanchored, handed no clear role and no rite of passage. A few weeks ago, the church's social media account shared the story of a young man who grew up around the Relief Society sisters who taught him to sew. He also trained as a ballet dancer, and now he designs women's fashion in New York. Well, good for him. Good for him for keeping the faith in such a hard place. That's no small thing. Though I have heard he's not necessarily keeping the faith anymore, but I haven't checked enough into that. However, there was one widely shared X post that responded to this as kind of a little skit. I want to share it with you because it really points to another underlying thing that's going on. It reads like this: Men in the church, do you have anything for us? Church PR department. Oh, for sure. Yeah, here's a story of a man. You'll love this. He attended Relief Society activities as a boy, dances ballet, and now he's a women's fashion designer in New York City. He wants to share about his testimony and finding identity through clothing and the power in femininity. Men of the church. Ah, okay. That's cool. But do you have anything that will inspire like the other 99% of us? Like a guy holding down a job just to make ends meet? Or a guy who sacrifices so his kids can have a better future? No? Nothing? Okay. The replies to his post reveal the same ache over and over. Not long before, the church's social media account held up a young husband describing his own path as some days I still feel like I'm figuring it out, and framed that drifting he's going through as sacred. I really wish that man well, but his story is really a symptom, one more sign that the LDS men are floundering today. That ache that these men are feeling in the comment section is real, and that's the story here. Our men are starving not for entertainment, but for two things in particular. First, to be seen, to hear someone in their own house of faith speak to their manhood and their struggles. Second, to have someone or something point them to the path of duty, calling them to bear real burdens of responsibility and telling them what they are for and that it's all worth it. This ache, this hunger, actually gave rise to an international figure that would eventually fail them. You see, men are so hungry for direction and a voice that a generation of them made a Canadian psychology professor their mentor, their voice. Jordan Peterson did not become a phenomenon by accident. He became one because he took seriously the thing that almost no one else would name, that modern men feel purposeless and unanchored, handed no clear role and no rite of passage, and told to take up less space or stay out of the way. He looked men dead in the eye and told them to stand up straight, carry something heavy, clean their room, to tell the truth, even against terrible cost and tyrants. Become someone a future family and a world could actually lean on. That message was true, and it struck a major chord. The young men who traveled hundreds, sometimes thousands of miles to hear him were not fools chasing a fad. They were reaching for something real that the world had stopped offering them. Purpose through responsibility, meaning through strife, and permission to live with masculine strength. They were right to reach. So should we be shocked to learn that the LDS men are feeling the same way and reaching out too? Not long ago, the men of the church had an hour built into General Conference twice a year just for them. In those sessions, the Lord's prophet stood toe-to-toe with us to call us out, to encourage us, to speak to us the way that men and boys need to be spoken to, long to be spoken to. And it was fuel. It was a model of priestly masculinity that kept the spark alive in elders' quorums worldwide. But then in 2018, That moved to just once a year. All right. Then by 2021, the separate session ended altogether. It folded away. And I don't second guess that decision because the Lord giveth and taketh away, but I'm not going to pretend that many of us don't still miss it. Since then, a feeling has crept into a good many elders, this feeling that the quorum isn't the strength or brotherhood that I need it to be. Sadly, the younger men feel this gap much earlier. So much of the masculine responsibility-driven demand, the rites of passage that used to prepare a boy for manhood, has thinned out. The rigorous father and son campouts that grounded him, the merit badges and week-long treks, usually through scouting, that gave him competence and a taste of real accomplishment. Strip those away, and is it any wonder why the young men arrive at manhood short on confidence, direction, and purpose? Is it any wonder that many are turning away from serving a mission? The hunger Peterson fed is the same hunger the priesthood quorums used to fill. When our own voice got quiet, his got louder, and then the strongest voice fell. The man who told millions to find heavy burdens and to bear them collapsed under his own weight. Peterson had already been prescribed a medicine to fight stress and anxiety of a punishing work schedule. Then, in the spring of 2019, as his wife Tammy fought kidney cancer, his doctors raised the dose of his medicine to manage this new level of strain. The dependence that followed spiraled him into a medical crisis that no Western clinic could pull him out of. And by January of 2020, he was in a hospital in Moscow, Russia, in a medically induced coma for 9 days, his breathing run by a machine. The most articulate voice on masculine responsibility had been carried to the edge of his own life. So, what went wrong? Was he wrong? Was Peterson wrong? Peterson had everything from a worldly viewpoint. I mean, he had fame, a platform reaching millions, more raw intellect than most of us will ever hope to gain a fraction of in this life. When the Substack writer Paul Robson went back through Peterson's own interviews, including a long conversation with Jonathan Pajot, he found Peterson admitting that beyond his immediate family, he had almost no real fellowship. Fans by the millions, but brothers, none. So when the one real relationship that was carrying his weight, his marriage, became the very source of the crisis, there was no one underneath him to carry him. There was no quorum of men who knew his name and his struggle, no brother to lean on. He had told everyone else how to stand, and when he fell, the room was empty. He fell victim to the very weakness of his own message. He had the purpose right, yet no brotherhood to bear him up. Guys, I don't want you to mistake this for some sort of takedown. Jordan Peterson was right about the burden and the responsibility, about men being built to carry something heavy, to find purpose and responsibility and meaning in the hard thing. But there is a second half to the equation, and it was missing, and it left him dangerously exposed. No man carries the heaviest burden alone and survives it. Strength without brotherhood doesn't make a man invincible, or even adequate for the deepest valleys he's going to go through. It makes him more like Peterson. Pretty magnificent, and yet one bad season away from crashing to the floor. Look at what Alma taught at the Waters of Mormon. He did not gather his people and tell them to set their burdens down, nor did he tell them to keep bearing burdens all by their lonesome. He told them to keep carrying and to carry one another's too. Quote, and are willing to bear one another's burdens, that they may be light, and comfort those who stand in need of comfort. End quote. Notice what does not change in that verse. The load stays. The mission to do the hard thing stays. What changes is that no man is under his load alone. Bearing one another's burdens is not the alternative to shouldering the heavy thing. It is the only way men and women shoulder it without being crushed. Peterson handed men the weight and then forgot to give them each other. This is what the world keeps getting wrong, and is costing us our best men. A voice can call a man to rise. It cannot carry him, though, when he falls. Peterson could hand a man a vision through a screen like no one else really could. And that vision was often good and true. But the day your own burden grows too heavy, that podcast, that screen, it can't reach over and take one end of it. The Savior can. And he works through us to be the brother in the same room to help you bear that burden when those deep and low valleys come. Here's where this lands closest to home, because we can't only point at Peterson or a social media account. For a lot of our men, the brotherhood that is supposed to be built into the priesthood quorums, no longer feels like one. The other quorum has quietly become a meeting that you attend, but not a brotherhood that you belong to. A lesson, a sign-up sheet, service you're going to do for someone in the ward, help them move, a room that's full of good men, right? Who don't actually know each other, though. Who don't know each other and bear each other's burdens. The men are paying for it in numbers most of us have never seen. The share of American men with at least 6 close friends has fallen from 55% in 1990 to just 27% today. The share of men with no close friends at all jumped 5-fold from 3% to 15%. Among unmarried men who aren't dating, 1 of 5 don't even have a single close friend. These are not lonely misfits at margins. These are the men next to you in the pew, the ones you see at church, the ones saying, I'm fine, when you see them on Sunday, but then they go home with that overwhelmed feeling, with that lost feeling in their hearts. For many congregations around the country, we did to the quorum what Peterson's platform did to him. We turned a brotherhood into a broadcast, essentially. We show up, we receive, we go home, an audience. Not a band of brothers with a shared purpose and burden. Okay, I know this is a bit dark and drabby, but here's the good news. Peterson had to build a following, but you are placed in a quorum, a body of men set around you by covenant with an actual obligation to you and you to them. He only had fans who consumed him, who consumed his content, but you have brethren who are bound to you. The most influential masculine voice of our day was brought to the edge of death for want of the exact thing that is already available through the church. The structure is already yours. And it becomes a true brotherhood the moment a few men decide to make it one. And that decision is smaller and more doable than you think. It looks like this. This week, speak to or text someone in your quorum, not about some assignment. Just text him about grabbing breakfast. Actually ask how he's doing. The next time a brother asks you how you are, tell him one true thing instead of, I'm fine. Find the man everyone can clearly see is struggling and carry something real for him. An afternoon with his kids, a Saturday, helping him move. A standing Sunday night call he can count on. None of that takes a new program or a budget or permission. The men you would need are already there. They're already in the pew. They're already in the quorum. The only thing missing is a few brothers who can decide that it is no longer okay to keep things the same and to take their quorum to a level deeper. So here's the truth, guys. Underneath all of it, the problem was never really the church's social media account or the folded priesthood session or the campouts that vanished. The general priesthood sessions, the rigorous activities, those were good in their day, but they were never meant to be the source of our strength. That source was always supposed to be the men who bear one another's burdens. We were always meant to carry on the spirit of brotherhood and activity, regardless of what happened, regardless of whether or not we have that extra session of general conference or anything else. Peterson told men to shoulder the weight of responsibility. It is time we carried out that same conviction straight into our own wards and become the brotherhood we keep waiting for someone else to build. So I want to invite you real fast. If you're ready to stop carrying this alone, to find brothers who will actually know you and hold the load with you, not just in your quorum, but across this nation, come find them at sendmesaints.org. It's not a following, not an audience, but a brotherhood that are all dedicated to helping you live truer and more courageously your faith personally and publicly. If you liked what you heard, please like and subscribe to the channel and comment below. I want to know, what do you see as your next step to make your quorum the brotherhood it ought to be? And as always, if you know someone who needs to hear this or could appreciate this, share it with them. Text in the link to this video. Everything you do helps grow this channel, helps grow this message. Anyways, guys, live free until next time.